Hey everybody, hello, this is Dead Buddy. I was thinking for a birthday cake, instead of candles, like, what if you had a whole bunch of joints coming out of the cake? Imagine like a 7-year-old birthday party, and instead of having 7 candles, you had 7 joints. You like make a wish before you blow out all the joints. I feel like, that would be a great birthday. Are you 1? Are you 2? Are you 3? But anyway, happy birthday to, whoa, oh shit. Happy birthday to me and my brother. This episode of Dead Money is brought to you by birthdays. Like and subscribe to the Dead Money podcast so you can find out when it's my birthday. My birthday passed 4 days ago. That's Saturday, March 7th. I am now 41 years old. I'm a 41-year-old pro poker player who plays poker and it's just one of these fucks. One of these fucking 40-year-old dumb fucks playing poker. And my brother, he's 44. Born 4 days after mine. In fact, it's recording today. That's Scott Arfin, 44 years old. Not a poker player, an engineer. He did all the schooling for the both of us. So I'm just one of these lifers still playing poker. But it's all right. I don't have to play, but I'm not done trying to get better at beating the shit out of these people because it's just dawned on me more and more these last few weeks. I might have even said this, but either way, it needs to be said again if I have. I mean, this player pool is not good at poker. Everyone is just fucking terrible, in my opinion. I mean, if everybody is just at best, this unimaginative, uncreative, one-track-minded nit who is not capable of winning if he doesn't have numerous things break his way. It just always boggles my mind just how, you got this whole contradiction going on among even winning players. These players don't want to bluff. They're just, so optimistic. They don't want to put money in, but they're so optimistic about all these hands they think they can make. And it just slices their fucking win rate potential just way down. I mean, it's just, to me, they're fish. They ain't big fish, but they're fish. I mean, I got a few hands I can talk about from this week. But first, I think maybe I'll just, maybe recap some of the strange stories from the recent weeks. I mean, I was trying to do an episode a couple months ago about some shit that happened at Caesar's Palace, which, by the way, the Caesar's Palace 500 max game, to remind you, is 500 max, and it's a bit of a throwback to what we've seen over 20 years ago. I mean, the play of poker is quite bad. I mean, even today's players could win in this game. So the rake is high, 10%, $6 max instead of 5%. So, so you're paying something that ain't really fair, but you are probably going to be getting a really soft game. I've only been in maybe 2-3 times, but holy shit. Couldn't believe where I was. But we had this guy on my left. I mean, this argumentative man who would not stop drinking and just being belligerent and provocative towards people who weren't talking to him. Just I couldn't believe how nasty this man was. And he's on my left, and he raises, and there's a few calls, and I 3-bet the big blind with queens, I think. This was a few months ago. And he's on my left, and I'm sure he was just going to fold, but this fucking guy put his hand over my heart, touches me, puts his hand on my heart, and he's like, oh, he said he's excited or something, and he folds, or I don't know, or he said it's beating fast. I mean, your heart could be beating fast whether you're bluffing or whether you got a hand, so that's why I think he's folding no matter what. But it's yeah, he didn't do any real damage to me, but it's the guy, I've never had another player touch me in a game. I have never seen another player touch another in a game. I guess I haven't even seen a physical fight at a game because I other than the one I almost got into, but the fucking guy touches my heart. I mean, and it's on one level you feel like you're supposed to get mad because he just violated you, even though he didn't really do anything, like I'm perfectly intact. So it's like you can let it go from that regard. But like, what the fuck? Can you fucking believe this prick? He put his fucking hand over my heart. I told him, I was like, you cannot do not put your hands on me again. Like, I was like, he's like, okay, like, I'm sorry. He put his hand out to shake my hand. I'm like, I'm not shaking your hand. Like, fuck you. Like, these people think that if they say sorry, that it just puts Humpty Dumpty back together again. Oftentimes, sorry doesn't make up for anything. I mean, I know in a lot of situations it's not going to really hurt, and maybe, a person will value and appreciate it, but, like, doesn't make up for what you did. It doesn't undo anything. I mean, this guy. Like, a little while later, he was trying to, like, get me to bump fists with him or something, and I was like, couldn't even understand what he was saying. I think he was trying to make a point that bumping fists and shaking hands are, like, the same thing. And I don't even know if I disagreed with him, and thinking about it now, I don't particularly disagree. I mean, when you meet somebody, when you're being introduced to somebody, it'd be funny if people did that at a business meeting, if they were to bump fists, right, instead of shake hands, but we know what he's trying to say. I mean, I was trying to, like, keep up with him, but every time I, like, said something that he thought was either incorrect or, like, he, like, set me up to say it, he would just say, exactly! This, like, 50-something Hispanic drunk. Oh, God. I mean, I don't even want to go back and look at my notes to see what happened with that guy that day. But he was just so argumentative. Like, I mean, I could just go on and on, but I'm not really saying anything of substance here. I walked over from the Bellagio that day, and I was so high, and I was just walking around the room, and, like, this player, like, kept thinking I was lost. Like, they were calling the new 2-5 at, like, table 9 or something, and he's like... And I'm just kind of, like, meandering, and my head's just sort of, like, it's kind of, like, looks like it's not attached to my body completely. And he's just, like, pointing, it's over there, it's over there. I'm like, yes, thank you. And you ask people for help, they double fist you both middle fingers. But when you want to just be by yourself and mind your own business, you got people telling you, hey, it's over there. And then they're, like, laughing at you behind you. Oh, brother. So you guys see this shit about Doug Polk's, the Austin Card Club or Lodge, Austin Lodge, Parker House, poker room, poker game was raided by the Texas Alcohol and Beverage, whatever. I mean, all right. We hope that nothing terrible happens. Doug Polk, whether you like him or not, is a big representation of poker. And it would just be bizarre if something happened to that place. It's like, what the hell? What kind of rules were they breaking? I mean, did they even know they were breaking a rule? Who knows? Well, like they say, don't mess with Texas. If you've ever driven around Texas, if you've ever driven on the highway, every so often you see a sign that says, don't mess with Texas. So maybe Doug and company have been messing with Texas. I guess we'll find out soon enough. I'd like to get a hold of Doug Polk because, Doug, if you didn't know, is interested in stand-up. He's been on Killed Tony. I'd like to go on Kill Tony, but, it's a hell of an effort to get on there. So I think the best thing to do is, to try and make some sort of connection. And surely I can only be 1 degree of separation from Doug. So I am trying to talk to Doug about stand-up. I would like to talk back and forth, banter or exchanging information and thoughts and feelings towards stand-up. Since, as far as I know, I don't think he's very experienced still. And I'm not super experienced myself, but I'm fairly experienced and probably a lot more experienced than him. And God, you want to get me out of this Dead Money studio. If I'm going to get out of this therapy, I got to get on the Kill Tony therapy. So if anybody knows how to if anybody can get Doug Polk in front of my ear with his mouth, whether it's just a phone call or if he just sits next to me and whispers in my ear, either one, if you can arrange that, try and arrange that shit, because me and Doug need to talk. Me and Doug need to talk about stand-up. Now, to go over one-hand history from last week, playing 2-5 at the Win, it was towards the end of a session where I've been running pretty good and getting an early position raise in the straddle pot from a guy who's sitting only about $600, I think. He makes it 30. A fishy player calls. He's got about the same. He's also got about $500-600. So I'm a little annoyed about overcalling deuces in the cutoff. I mean, well, I shouldn't say annoyed. I mean, it's just thinking more about these little pairs. I mean, you gotta watch out. Like, you're gonna get oversetted with this shit. Not like a lot, but like, obviously, the lower the pair, the more often it gets oversetted. Duh. So you can't just be flopping a set against any type of stack size and just going with it every single time, bottom set, that is. I mean, against plenty of people, yeah, of course you are. But, like, there's a time and a place where you're going to have to just slow things down a little and just don't jam. You might have to find yourself just calling big bets because certain players just ain't stacking off unless they have that hand beat. Anyway, I call the 30, and we get to the straddle, or it was the straddle or the big blind, and he was new. He was winning since he sat down, playing fairly well up to that point, but had a really expensive watch on. He seemed like he was some kind of Middle Eastern. He was talking in one of those languages. You tell they're from the Middle East, just don't know whereabouts approximately. He looks like he could be a huge fish. I mean, he 3-bets to just 145, and lately I've just been getting a little more worried about the 3-bet that's like big, but not that big. And you're just worried, is this going to be aces? And, I don't like having to call with this price because we're very deep with the guy. He's an example. I mean, we're like 2,500 deep by now. I mean, at least. So I'm just willing to play the hand, but like, especially with the razor folded and the other fish with 500 or 600, he called. So, I mean, I'm calling. I'm not saying I'm gonna start running away from these situations, but it's just, over the summer last year, I mean, I lost top fold of quads twice. I mean, it's just keep your eyes open. That's all. Just keep your eyes open with the sets, the little sets. The flop comes, ace, jack, 4 rainbow, and the 3-better checks, and then the fish checks, and when the fish checks, he's gonna be pretty capped. Because weaker players in single raise pots or 3-bet pots, I mean, if they flop something that they think is somewhat nice, such as top pair or better, and the aggressor checks, anyone who bets behind him oftentimes is going to have a real hand. So when he checks, we know he's pretty capped. But he also saw me bluff before, and I'm just a little worried this guy is going to call way too light against me because he's only going to have 450 at the most left, and this guy could just have Jack X and just stack the fuck off with it. And if he has a Jack, I mean, I'm in terrible shape. So, I mean, normally I like to bet flops where the 3-better or opening raiser gets an ace-high flop and starts checking to you. I mean, I like to take that as a green light. But the fish have me a little worried. And, there's a chance you're just betting into a hand that has you dead. So, even if you're, meaning like truly, almost truly dead, where you got to go running quads, where you could have aces here. So I check back, and I hit a deuce. My goodness, 2 clubs now. I'm like getting a little nervous. It'd be one thing if the board was 8 high or 10 high. It's when a couple of those big cards are out there, like, and the guy 3-bet, I mean, and now he comes and bets 345, a pretty substantial bet. I mean, they're going 3/4 here, and so one of these 2 stacks is not deep at all. I mean, he's setting himself up to only get called by some really, really strong stuff, like either a set of deuces or maybe a combo draw. If you have like Jack 10 of clubs, there's a few hands like that. So he bets 345, and I'm just wondering, what does he want to bet so fucking huge with? And it's probably not going to be just an ace. I was just very confused. So I'm thinking about these 2 fucking coolers from last year, and it's like, yeah, I can probably just raise fold. The guy's not going to fucking re-jam like with like ace-king drawing dead. I mean, you just don't see stuff like this. You see people bet 3-bet on situations, big pots. They bet 3-bet when they got the freaking nuts. So raise folding, it seems okay. I mean, calling, which is what I did. I mean, yeah, that might be a standard move. It's not like a mistake, but it is a mistake if there's a better move than that. I mean, if you don't pick the best decision, how did you not make a mistake? I mean, it's not that the other decision was like, oh, you freaking, like, you're going to go broke. It's not that, but hey, the other play was better. So I call and check out this river. It's another ace. Didn't see that coming, especially with what I'm worried about here. I mean, I'm worried he specifically has top set aces and now is just trying to like make this strange bet but get max value with the nuts. You know, I felt like if he had a set of jacks, he probably would just bet the flop thinking there's a really good chance someone has an ace. If someone does have an ace, you know, they're probably going to bet anyway, so he doesn't necessarily have to bet a set of jacks. So, you know, with the guy still being relatively new, I mean, I don't really know what his level is in a situation like that and what he's going to be thinking about. So when he get this river, I'm not expecting to see another ace, and it's another club, so backdoor clubs come in, but I have very, very few flushes here. Like, I may not even have, like, the Broadway flushes, because I might just be 3-betting that and just, like, challenging the freaking under-the-gun shorty razor. I mean, you get a little worried about 3-betting those players because they're opening from early position, but, yeah, hey, look, they're opening a lot of hands that they're not necessarily thrilled to be thrilled if someone 3-bets them. So with dead money out there from the other fish, I mean, yeah, I might have I'm probably going to be 3-betting like King 10 suited and shit like that. So the opponent in this situation doesn't know this on the river, but he clearly must think I have flushes. He's either checking because he's concerned or he's checking because he's trying to check jam. I mean, I guess I'm bet folding this just like I was raise folding the turn. If I were to raise, I guess bet folding here is you're basically saying the same thing to yourself. The guy will not raise your bets unless he can beat your hand. So I just bet 550 and it's like fucking tilting because it sucks that it looks like I probably backed into a flush where my hand is better than a flush. I mean, I didn't probably, it's like if the guy had ace jack, I don't even want to see another ace. So it's just a time where I didn't really want to fill up other than thinking, all right, now there's a lesser chance he's got freaking aces. So he checks, I bet 550. He says, he's like, if that's ace no club, I pay you off. And he folds. And he had kings. So, okay, I mean, made sense pre-flop because people are trying to start to 3-bet a little less when they have these huge, huge pairs. But when you're out of position, there's all this money out there. You know, it's not a great spot. You still need to just go big. And if you end up taking the pot there, it's like that's not a disaster. You're playing deep out of position. I mean, you got kings or aces. You know, you don't want to be going multi-way. I mean, out of position, this is going to be really hard. It's going to be hard to win a big pot this way. I mean, you know, check shoving and getting in against like a 5-outer is not happening a lot for a long time now. So, but all right, we know he's just trying to not scare anyone off, and then he gets the dreaded ace-high flop, and he checks. But what the fuck is he betting so goddamn big on the turn for? I mean, I don't know if I get to this flop taking this line, overcalling, and then closing the action, calling a 3-bet with just an ace. But if I did, I can see myself checking back flop. I mean, I might bet really small, but I can see myself checking. So if that's what I do, then, I mean, you probably wouldn't want to fold that to a turn bet once you've checked back. I mean, but so I think his turn bet is just so crazy big, and he gets a call. I mean, you wonder if he had the king of clubs or not. He didn't say or show if he'd had it or not, but I think he probably didn't have a club. You know, he may have thought about it a little more because the king of clubs is actually a pretty significant card in that spot because it is going to block a few of the key flushes that could come in. But either way, so I turned this set, and I'm just nervous what to do on both the turn and the river. Now, had I raised the turn, I mean, raising the turn looks so good because you don't fucking rep anything except 3 deuces. Like, these types of players are not going to think you have any value except maybe 3 deuces, and they think, oh, what if he has flush draws and thinks I'm weak because I check flop? I mean, he may have called a raise on the turn. I mean, he wouldn't have. We know he's not going to jam, but 3-bet jam kings is a bluff. But he may have figured out he should just call there, and we definitely know he's going to fold river since a club came. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not thrilled the way I played this hand, not even necessarily because of the result. He may have just folded to a turn raise, although raising turn at least takes his 2 outs away. But I'm not thrilled about the way I played the hand just because I just was uncomfortable. I mean, it's okay to like realize there could be danger going on, but you still be comfortable with the situation, and if you deal with that danger, it's okay. But it was towards the end of a session. I was having a good day, and we know that it's a little more natural at that point to get a little more back on your heels, and you're afraid of being put in a tough spot when you're at the end of a day and you've been winning. You don't want to blow the lead in the ninth inning. You don't want to be up 5 runs in the ninth inning and now lose the fucking game 6-5 because of this nonsense. So you can understand how it happens, but you just got to play the hand. But calling still might be better because when he checks this river, if the river is 5, another 4, I still fill up, but the club's miss. I expect him to check again, and if he's calling a lot of bets there, then calling turn is pretty good since most rivers are going to be clean. And the question is, would the guy call a turn raise and call a bet on the river if it misses? That might be getting a little too far into the what if speculation, but yeah, that was definitely probably the most drama on the horizon hand I played. It didn't get insanely dramatic. Only one bet went in after the flop, even if it was a straddle pot. So I'm going to give an example of what I said at the start of the show about people just being bad at poker, and there is just so many players at poker who are bad. Even though they're winning, they're still bad. I got into a spot where I had ace-4 at clubs in the cutoff, and I believe that was a straddle pot too, but it may not have been. Either way, the button limped out of turn, so I got my action back, and I was still going to raise, and now he has all his options back, but he called that. So his hand, he felt, was good enough to limp the button, but not good enough to raise, but also good enough to call raise. And we go 3-way, and we got a European player in one of the blinds, and he maxed bought. He looked like he might be good, but he was just another nitty player who seemed very confused with his poker life. And the flop comes ace, queen, jack. I got ace-4 of clubs, no backdoor. And normally this is never, ever a flop I'd be betting. But between the Euro checking and not being very good, and we have this guy who limped the button but also called a raise from the button, now I think I can bet the hand for value because I can't really imagine he could have ever outflopped me with anything. But he might call with like a lot of one-pair hands, like queen 9, queen 8, jack 9, jack. This maybe he's just queen 10 offsuit, jack 10 offsuit. I know I'm getting raised if he has me beat. So he calls, next guy folds, and turn was a small card. I just bet again with top pair. I bet like 140. Yeah, this was a straddle pot. So at my 140 turn bet, I know it was close to the pot. Then we get to the river, and the river made 4 to a straight. It was a Broadway card. I forget which. I think the queen made Broadway. So maybe it was like, it doesn't matter. This whatever the fuck. There's 1 to Broadway on the river. So we know I have to check. And he checks. And I'm expecting to lose fully to 2 pair. No. Top pair, no kicker. Wins at showdown here. This guy calls the flop bet, calls the turn bet, doesn't bluff this river with whatever stupid third pair or whatever the fuck he had, something that is probably just never winning at showdown. So this is just one example. Look, this is not a reg. This is not a guy I've seen before, but it's like, I'm telling you, like, people play really bad because he's not the only one who would have checked there. And if he puts out a real bet, I just got to give it to him. I got fucking stupid top pair, no kicker. I get to this spot with way better hands. This is the worst time I ever have a value hand in this spot that I bet flop and turn that is this bad on the river, and I only did it because of what happened pre-flop because the guy didn't know what he had. The guy didn't know it wasn't his turn. You got to tell people when it's their turn 1,000,000 times a day. They can't put their fucking phone down, but then they play their hand out of turn and they play their hand too soon. Just nobody's paying attention. How can a game be tough when nobody's paying attention? You think people who aren't paying attention are like great players? Great players pay attention. Phil Ivey said in an interview, he talked about how there was a time where he wasn't paying attention for a while. Or not that he wasn't paying attention. He just wasn't trying as hard as he normally would. And then he said by the time he really got in the middle of that phase, then he realized just how hard he was trying before and how hard he was paying attention once he stopped. So I don't see how you could ever become a great player if you're not someone who's consistently just always watching what's going on. I mean, I'll admit I have definitely plenty of like spurts of a game where I'm not really paying close attention, and I should be. I mean, I don't think it's like, a huge disaster to your career and win rate if you look at your phone like here and there, but like, you don't want to get freaking too caught up in it. I mean, come on, you're playing poker. Just work. You're poker players. You guys never have to do anything. Like, when you're playing poker, can you just fucking play? I mean, how many people do we get prompted? We have to interrupt them during the hand to tell them it's their turn. Multiple times. The freaking phone cannot wait, even for just to play one hand. I mean, who are you sexting? But yeah, I mean, this guy letting me win with top pair on this river, I mean, it's just ludicrous. People are so scared to bluff. I actually did have a couple of hands with the Euros that didn't get very big or dramatic, but I felt like I was like, fucking with them a little bit. And the first Euro, who I've been talking about, he wasn't very good or aggressive, but he was always straddling. So he did eventually go to 5-10. So I guess in his mind, he just wants to simulate a 5-10 game by straddling. So I raised 30 on the button, queen 10 of clubs. He calls big blind. It comes king, queen, X. He checks, I check. The turn is an ace. He checks. I thought about overbetting here to start bluffing either a king or, try and rep ace queen. But I checked, and the river was a backdoor club and 8, and he checked again. And I felt like third pair here was probably the best hand, but I wasn't sure. And I thought if I just suddenly did something aggressive, because I had been fairly quiet for a long point. I did have a good session, but it took a while for things to get going. I thought if I just threw an overbet at him that it would knock out any of his better hands that he's not going to have that often, but often enough that it's worth blasting into him. So I 2x 120, and he folds fast. But then the other Euro gives me this whole look like, whoa, I've never seen anyone do that at 2-5. And yeah, I mean, maybe that's what he was thinking. I mean, he didn't try to hide the look he gave me. He looked at me. It's like, yes, I overbet. Okay. People, if you're not overbetting, you got to start overbetting. I mean, overbetting is the essence of no limit hold'em. The fact that you can bet a huge amount into a small amount, that's what makes the game so fucking nuts. I mean, there's so many different kinds of bet sizes you can use into so many different sizes of pots. So then I play another hand with Euro 2 where he raises middle position. I call with pocket 8s. Both of my 8s were black. Flop is ace 5-5, 2 spades and a club. He bets 15 into 40. I called. I would have 3-bet, but there was a fish in the big line. So that's why I just called the pre-flop. So turn is a 6 of clubs, 2-tone board, check, check. River is the 10 of spades, backdoor flush hits. He checks. And once again, I thought there's a fair chance I have the best hand, but in a small percentage of the times I won't. So I just bet around 120% pot, and he folded. And then we get a raise from the original European player. He makes it 15 for middle position. A fish calls. I'm in the big blind. I 3-bet to 90 with pocket 10s. Only the European player calls. And I was thinking I could check an enormous percentage of the flops as an X-blow. I thought that checking flop will lead me to just play very well on all the streets. And the flop comes king 4-5, 2 hearts. I check, and he bets really, really big, 140 into 185, and I folded. I mean, it just felt like a value bet. I mean, I think he expects me to just have a ton of not checked folds on this flop, so he's just gonna go bombs away and, get a lot from my pocket queens and jacks. Or maybe he flops really huge, like a set, 4s or 5s. I mean, if he had even a combo draw, I wouldn't expect him to bet this big because he doesn't want to be check raised, even if he flops a lot of equity. So I just don't understand why he was betting so big. He just seemed like a very nitty player. And it just felt like this is just the beginning into the aggression. And I feel like it's if I don't fold this hand now, I'm just going to end up folding it later. But I felt like I was playing well against him. And so I think I made the right move there. But only he knows. And last hand for this week, I raised a 20 early position with pocket threes and a diamond. The same guy, same European player calls. We go heads up. Comes king 5-4, 2 diamonds. Almost, wait, wow, that's basically the same flop. It's king 5-4 with a flush draw, just a different suit. And I mean, be checking this spot anyway, but I checked for the same reason I checked as big blind from the 3-better, thinking even though that's a good board for me to c-bet on, as an expo, I think I could just make a lot of good decisions by checking. So I check, he checks back, turns in 9, and here I bet 166% pot, and he folds. And, what am I trying to rep when I make this huge bet? I mean, I'm just trying to get rid of his mediocre showdown value by trying to rep some weird line I took with a very, very big hand. And I just don't think if he has like 7s or 8s here, or 6-5, or if he's just anything like that, he's just going to want to start putting boatloads of money in and holding on in some very weird spots to be faced with checks and then all this aggression, Just didn't seem like he was looking to battle with any of his so-so parts of the range. So it felt good to just fuck with these guys a little bit, because these last few years, I mean, whatever the reason why, I've seen very, very little talent among the European poker players. They're playing more and more like the Americans. They're just friggin' nits. They're much more polished. They're not as sloppy, but they ain't any more impressive either. So, all right, that wraps up this birthday episode for the week. Once again, happy birthday to me, 41, Scott Arfin, the brother, 44. I'm going to Buffalo for a couple of days. Tomorrow night, I think. I got a wedding to go to, a lifelong friend getting married. Buffalo, fuck me. I mean, in the middle of March, it's towards the end of the winter, but it's Buffalo. So just praying to get in and out of there without any hassle. But until then, I'll get back out there soon enough, and I'll talk to you soon enough. So thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.